What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Project Positive Health. If you are new to my channel, I am Steph and I am a intermittent and alternate day faster. If you are interested in intermittent and alternate day fasting, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video, which will be on a Monday and a Friday. In this video, I'm going to share with you my tips on how to start fasting. So if you are completely brand new to fasting and you're overwhelmed by the amount of information out there about intermittent fasting and alternate day fasting, I am going to share with you my tips on how to start fasting. So in this video, I am going to go through with you, firstly, what is intermittent fasting, the benefits of intermittent fasting, all the different fasting protocols so you can kind of figure out what one is best for you, how to work out your total daily energy expenditure and in turn what your BMR is, how to prep yourself for your very first fast, what you can consume during your fast, what exercise you can do, or if you can exercise during a fast. Most importantly, how to break your fast and any concerns really about intermittent fasting. Before we get into this, obviously I'm very passionate about intermittent and alternate day fasting, so I can really go on and talk about this for a very long time. So I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible, but I really want to make sure you get value from this video and it addresses all your questions and kind of all your concerns you might have about starting off intermittent and alternate day fasting. So grab yourself a drink. I've got water because I am fasting today. Get yourself a comfy chair, because this could possibly go on for a very long time. What is intermittent fasting? First of all, you probably already know this anyway. Intermittent fasting is literally where you cycle through periods of not eating and periods of eating. It is literally that simple. You're either eating or you're not eating, and that is all. Intermittent fasting isn't a diet. I say it's not a diet. It's literally more of a lifestyle change. It doesn't dictate what you can and can't eat. It literally says, you know, for 16 hours you're going to be fasting, you're not going to be eating anything, and then you will have a 8-hour window to consume all your daily calories within that window. And that literally is what intermittent fasting is. So what are the benefits of intermittent fasting? You probably already know this, which is why you're already looking into starting to fast. So the main benefit for fasting tends to be fat loss while maintaining your muscle. Another one of the benefits tends to be autophagy, which most of you already know anyway. It is where your old cells get recycled and used. Fasting is brilliant for mental clarity as well. So before you start fasting, you need to figure out what fasting protocol is best for you, which protocol is going to work around you and your lifestyle. So most people tend to start off with a 16-8 protocol. So this is where you are not eating for 16 hours and then you've got an 8-hour window to eat. Now, the reason why a lot of people suggest 16-8 to start off with is because the benefits of fasting usually begin around 16 hours of fasting. So if you're fasting for less than that, obviously you're not going to get as many benefits as you would if you were doing a 16-hour fast. However, that's not saying that you can't do a lesser fast. If you are brand new to fasting and you don't want to jump straight into doing a 16-8, then you can just fast for 12 hours. You know, just figure out what works for you, because what works for one person isn't always going to work for another. So you need to work out what is best for you. And also as well, not everyone works a typical 9 to 5 job. You know what I mean? Some people work nights and all that kind of thing. So work out what is best for you and your own lifestyle. So like I said, you can start off with a 12-hour fast. Some people prefer to start off with a 16-8. Some people prefer to start off with an 18-6. And I can't imagine many people choose to jump straight in and do a 20-hour fast. So I am going to just say a 12-hour or a 16-hour fast would probably be the two that I would recommend doing, because they're nice and easy to kind of jump into, and I don't think many people find them too difficult, especially with a 12 and 16 hour. You're literally sleeping for most of that anyway, so you're literally getting up, you're not having breakfast usually, and then you'll have lunch or you'll have dinner, or however you want to work it. So those two would probably be the fasts that I recommend to start off with. The intermittent fasting protocols obviously are a 16-8, a 18-6, or you can do a 24, or you can do an OMAD. Obviously, if you're just beginning, you might not want to jump in and do the longer fast. You might just want to keep it to obviously 12 or 16 hours. And then after that, you have your more prolonged fasts, your extended fasts. The benefits of those are mostly mental and kind of like your cell rejuvenating benefits, basically. So the prolonged fasts are 24, 36 and 48 hours plus. Then obviously you have your liquid fasts, where you literally just consume all your calories within liquid. So you can have coffee, you can have your bulletproof coffee, and you can have your bone broth. You literally just can't have any food. And then you have dry fasting, which means you can't consume bugger all. No food, no water, nothing. Okay, so now you've figured out what fasting protocol you are going to do, you need to figure out what your total daily energy expenditure and what your basal metabolic rate is. And the reason why I recommend that is because during your eat window, especially if you're trying to lose weight, you need to make sure you're not overeating. You need to make sure that you are either eating between your TDEE and your BMR in order for you to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, basically. I will link below the TDEE calculator that I use. So all you have to do is go into it, and I think it asks you like your age, your height, how active you are, and then it will come up with all your information that you need. It will tell you how much calories you need to cut, how many calories you need to maintain, and how many calories you need in order to be bulking. So it also tells you what your BMR is, so you can eat between your TDEE number and your BMR number, and then you can kind of tweak it from there. Obviously everyone's details are individual, so what works for one person isn't going to work for another. So the best thing to do is work out what your TDE is and your BMR, so in that way during your eating window you can still be eating enough calories that you need but still be in a deficit. My next tip would be to always prep before your fast, especially if you're brand new to fasting. Don't just think you can order a Domino's pizza and then jump in and do a fast, because that's gonna not be good for you. You are gonna be feeling very, very rough from doing that. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would try and keep your carbs low. If you are gonna have carbs, try and get them from like your veggies and things like that. But ideally, your meal before you fast should be something that contains protein, definitely fats, and is quite high in fiber. So all of these things are going to be able to keep you fuller for longer, which then makes the time where you're fasting a little bit easier. So yeah, definitely have your last meal that contains protein, fiber, and good fats. So during your fast, obviously you can't eat anything, but you still can have water. You can have sparkling water. You can have coffee and tea as long as they are black. Don't add any sweeteners because sweeteners will trigger an insulin response. You can have green tea as well. You can also add little lemon in with your water, just add a little something to it. But those really are all you can consume during your fasting window. So some people ask about like supplements and things like that. So I know that BCAAs, they will obviously break your fast because they trigger an insulin response. Artificial sweeteners will break your fast. Vitamins and minerals are a bit of a funny one. Minerals are fine. So if, like, I take electrolytes during my fast, so you'll be able to take those. In actual fact, I would recommend you take your electrolytes because obviously you deplete of your minerals whilst you fast. So yeah, doing electrolytes probably be a good idea. If you have water soluble vitamins, then yeah, they're fine to take, but the fat ones like your fish oils, they actually break your fast. So I mean, obviously it's going to trigger an insulin response. It's not going to be anything major. So I suppose if you wanted to take your fish oils, you can, but obviously it will trigger an insulin response. So it will set your fasting back a little bit. So it's entirely down to you. I still take mine because I fast for like 40 hours at a time and sometimes 65 I'm doing today. So I do a lot of fasting, so I like to take my vitamins and minerals, but it's entirely up to you, especially if you're doing the shorter fast. What you can do is just fast for the full 12 or 16 hours and then just take all your vitamins and minerals that you need to take during your fasting window. So it's entirely down to you, but you can have those. But obviously no BCAAs or protein powders or anything like that during your fast. That is a no-no. Exercise. Yes, you can work out and exercise during a fast. I find it's better for me personally to work out fasted as opposed to fed. Some people prefer to work out fed. It's entirely up to you. You can do it before you fast or after you fast or during your fast even. It's entirely up to you. The only thing that I would say is if you are going to work out in a fed state, obviously eat and then give yourself a certain amount of time to let everything settle before you then go and work out. Okay, so this is super important. A lot of people do not understand how important it is to break your fast correctly. Yeah, if you don't break your fast correctly, all the benefits of fasting that you've just done will be undone basically. So the general rule of thumb for breaking your fast is do not mix your fats and carbs. I've said this before, you probably already know this, but do not mix your fats and carbs. And the reason for this is because when you're fasting, your cells obviously become a lot more sensitive and they are a lot more receptive to what you're then putting into your mouth. So if you consume fats and carbs trigger an insulin response, so that will then open up your cells. So once your cells are open, the carbs will go in and the fat will go in. You definitely don't want the fat to be going in your cells because that is going to make you fat basically. So what you can do is either break your fast with some bone broth. I tend to break my longer fast with chicken bone broth because it's good on your gut. It's nice and light, especially after doing a prolonged fast, but you can break your shorter fast using bone broth as well. So basically, rule of thumb is just don't mix your fats and carbs. So you can generally get away with mixing your protein and your fats. I tend to do that. I tend to have scrambled egg and smoked salmon, or you can just literally stick to having lean protein. I try not to have any carbs when I break my fast, full stop. I tend to leave my carbs to later on in the day after I've broken my fast. So yeah, just don't mix your fats and carbs. That is the general rule for breaking your fast. It is an absolute no. Okay, so with most of the common concerns with regards to intermittent fasting, a lot of people think fasting will cause you to lose like muscle, which it doesn't. It's exactly the same as if you are on a calorie restrictive diet. You don't lose muscle. on a calorie restrictive diet, do you? So fasting for 16 hours isn't going to cause you to lose muscle. If you're now doing, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of fasting, then yeah, you're going to lose some muscle, but not for 16 hours. You'll be perfectly fine. So you haven't got to worry about muscle loss. It just isn't a worry. Just don't concern yourself with that. You're not going to lose muscle doing a 16-hour fast. It's the same thing with your metabolism. Your metabolism is not going to slow down from doing a 16-hour fast in any way, shape or form. Like I said, it's as long as you're getting enough calories in during your eating window, you'll be fine. If your calories are too low for an extended period of time, then you're going to be in some problems. But if you're making sure you're eating enough calories during your eating window, you'll be fine. You're golden. With your thyroid, obviously, it slows down whilst you're fasting. It's just something that's going to happen. But once you start eating again, it speeds back up again. So again, you're fine. It slows down whilst you're fasting, but then once you start eating again, it is back to normal. So you will be fine. One of the things that I tend to do, because obviously I spend a lot of time fasting, I like to have my seaweed crackers. Obviously, I've said it before a million times. You're probably sick of me saying this now, but seaweed crackers have iodine in it, which obviously is really good for your thyroid health. So if you're worried about your thyroid whilst you're fasting, you could always have some seaweed crackers to break your fast once you've done it. But to be honest with you, I think for your 16, 18, you know, your normal intermittent fasting protocols, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. Obviously, once you start doing the more prolonged and extended fast, then definitely you need to top up your iodine just to keep everything in tip-top shape. But for just starting off intermittent fasting, don't worry about that. You'll be fine. So guys, like I've said, I've tried to keep this video as short as I possibly can, but at the same time, making sure you have value from this video. Obviously, you know I'm very passionate about intermittent fasting, and I can go on and on and on and on and on about this topic forever, but I'm not going to. So I think I've covered everything. I hope I've covered everything. If I have forgotten anything, or you've got your own tips for fasting, just pop them in the comment section. I think it'd be really helpful to have other people's kind of perspectives and, you know, their input. It would be really, really interesting to see like how other people start their fast, how they break it, all that kind of thing. It'd be quite interesting to have like a little chit chat about that. So yeah, if you've got your own input, feel free to pop those in the comment section. It'd be an interesting read and it'd be helpful for other people. So my lovelies, I am gonna love you guys and leave you now. I really hope you enjoyed my video and found it helpful. Like I said before, if you are interested in intermittent fasting or alternate day fasting and you kind of wanna see what fasting is like, learn a little something, or just follow me on my little fasting journey or get involved in my fasting journey, you're more than welcome to obviously like the video and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video, which will be on a Monday and a Friday. Hopefully you like this video. That being said, guys, I am gonna love you and leave you, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye.